The Valley of Vision is one of my favorite Banner books for a variety of reasons. I got that book in the paperback form, which sort of has green trees and sort of rolling hills behind it. If you remember that old edition it must have been published in the 70s in that form. I have it in various forms. I've got it in the sort of imitation leather form and a nice calfskin leather format that John MacArthur gave to us at a Shepherd's Conference many years ago. But the prayers of the Valley of Vision help get me praying when there's nothing in my tank. You know, sometimes the Puritans used to say, pray until you pray. And the Valley of Vision helps me pray until I pray, because it will bring truths of the Bible so vividly to life in the form of expression that it drives it into your heart, and then your heart is able to turn that truth back into your own prayer to God. The book also helps me as a pastor in leading my people in public prayer. I never want prayer to be routine and rote. I really want I want my congregation to feel like if I can just get back to the Lord's house on the Lord's day and hear the pastoral prayer, I can make it. I want them to know that pastoral prayer is an important event in the public worship of God. A number of years ago, a young college student met me at the door of the church, and that was when Derek Thomas was serving with me at First Presbyterian Church in Jackson. And she came up to me, and she was very exercised, and I thought she was going to say something to me about the sermon, and she said, "What was that he did in the middle of the service?" And I started thinking back through what Derek had led in the service, and one of the things he had led was the pastoral prayer. I said, well, that's called a pastoral prayer. And she said, I've never heard something like that before. And I thought, well, this must be a non-Christian. And so I said, well, have you been to church before? He said, oh, yes. And I said, well, your family must not have gone to church much growing up. Oh, no, my father was a pastor. But she had grown up in a church tradition where there was almost no prayer in public worship. And she had never heard a pastor pray like that. And the Valley of Vision has been something that has helped me serve my congregation so that I do believe that they consider the public prayer just as much of a part of worship as the singing of psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, the hearing of the reading and proclamation of the Word. They view that public prayer as an important part of worship, and it feeds their souls. And the Valley of Vision, it's one of my 3 favorite books on prayer. And so I recommend it to pastors for their own private use. Sometimes you can use it to help you prepare to go into public worship. Sometimes you will take some of the thoughts from specific prayers and use them in the course of your pastoral prayer in the pulpit. But it's a devotional book that will repay reading and reading and reading over again. Like a hymnal or a psalter will serve as a devotional book, so will the Valley of Vision.